Hello people, today we will study the type of microorganisms. In previous lecture, we studied what are microorganisms and where they are found. So today, what are types of microorganisms? Basically divided into 5 major groups, that is bacteria, algae, protozoa, fungi and viruses. So we'll study them in this lecture. So I want to tell you something basic first. So we heard the terms bacteria and bacterium. So what is the difference between a bacteria and a bacterium? The difference is nothing as such but plural or singular forms. So here are all the singular forms of all these 5 category of microorganisms and their plural form. So bacterium means a single bacterium, means a single entity or a single bacterium. But bacteria is more than one bacterium. More than one bacterium are called as bacteria. Similarly, more than one alga is called as algae, and more than one protozoan is called as protozoa. More than one fungus is called fungi, and more than one virus is called as viruses. So the difference is just between singular and plural forms, nothing as much. So before going to study further in detail about bacteria, algae, protozoa and fungi, I want to first tell you the difference between unicellular and multicellular. So unicellular, uni means one, cellular means cell. So such organism in which their body is only made up of only one cell. For example, bacterium. And multicellular, as the name is suggesting, multi means many, cellular means cell. Body consists of many cells, that may be more than one cell, 2 cells, 3 cells, or trillions or billions of cells. They all come in the category of multicellular. For example, human body. Human body consists trillions and millions and billions of cells. So human body is an example of multicellular, or humans are multicellular, whereas bacterium is unicellular. And other examples also include like amoeba, paramecium, so these are all examples of unicellular and multicellular. So starting with the bacteria, bacteria are simple unicellular living microorganism. Now unicellular, I already told you, simple is that they are simple in their structure. Where they are found, bacteria are found almost everywhere, from soil, water, air, even inside humans and also inside many other organisms. What are the characteristics or the special features of bacteria? That bacteria grow and multiply very fast. That is, one bacterium divide into 2 bacteria within 10 to 30 minutes, and then this bacteria again divide into 2 and this one again into 2. So they grow geometrically at a very fast rate within a very small time range. Okay, some of the bacteria may exist singly, and some of them may get linked together with other bacterium, like in groups, or they can form chains. So bacteria may have different types of shape. Here in this class, in 8th class, we will only study about the 3 basic shapes. Obviously, there are also more shapes, but we will study them in the higher classes. So the 3 basic shapes is, one is bacillus, coccus or cocci, or spirulina. Okay, so bacilli is plural and the singular of the bacilli is bacillus. Bacilli means rod shaped bacterium, just like this. This is a rod shape. Cocci, singular coccus, is a spherical shaped bacterium, just like a sphere, like this. Whereas spirilla or singular spirillum, spiral shaped, like this. Have you ever seen a spiral notebook kept in the bookstores or in the market? You can resemble it with that shape, spiral. Okay, now I told you that bacteria even reside inside humans and in many other organisms as well. So E. coli is a rod-shaped E. coli is a rod-shaped bacterium that is present inside the small intestine of the human beings. So if somebody asks you that, give me the name of the bacterium that lives in human beings, so here is your answer, that E. coli is a rod-shaped bacterium that lives in the small intestine of humans. And if someone asks you that, tell me about a bacterium, or tell me about bacteria that live inside cattle or organisms other than humans, so you can name methanogens, are the bacteria that are present inside the rumen of the cattle, like cow. Okay, now what is rumen? Rumen is actually a special organ present inside cattle like cow. Rumen is not present in humans, to be noted. Rumen is not present in human. So let us study algae. What is algae? Okay, so algae are simple living plant-like microorganisms. They are considered as living. They are simple in their structure, but they are plant-like. They are not plant, they are just plant-like. They can be unicellular or their body can be multicellular, but unlike bacteria, which were only unicellular, algae has both the kind of features. They are having unicellular as well as multicellular body also. Obviously, they have a cell wall because they are plant-like. Why they are called as plant-like? Because of the presence of plant-like characters or plant-like features. So they have a cell wall and they have a chlorophyll pigment inside their cells, and that's why they are called as plant-like. But why they are not plants, or why they are not true plants? Because they are plant-like but not plants, because they lack true roots, stems and leaf. So they are plant-like because of the presence of chlorophyll pigment within their cells and presence of cell wall, but they are not true plants because they lack true roots, true stems and true leaves. Yeah, but because of the presence of chlorophyll in their cells, they are capable of synthesizing their own food by the process which we all know, that is photosynthesis. Now, where they are found, where algae is found, almost all of the types of algae are found in water bodies like sea, lakes and ponds, and some of them also are found in snow, hot springs, moist soil, bark of the trees, rock surfaces. So they can be present on the wet rock surfaces. They can be present on moist bark of the trees, moist soil, hot springs and snow, etc. Now examples of algae are, this is Spirogyra, Chlamydomonas, Fucus, Laminaria. So this is a Spirogyra. Spirogyra is a filamentous algae, and as you can see, this is a cell wall of the algae. And this thing is a chloroplast. So it has a ribbon like chloroplast. This is again an example of an algae, that is Chlamydomonas. This is Fucus and this is Laminaria. So we will be studying about now protozoa. Protozoa are unicellular, living. They are considered living and they are animal-like microorganisms. So why they are considered animal-like microorganisms? Because they can move from one place to another and they capture and eat food. Basically, they don't have chlorophyll, they don't synthesize their own food by photosynthesis. That's why, and they move and from one place to another and eat and capture food. That's why they are called animal-like, but they are not true animals. Okay. So previously we learned that bacteria were unicellular, algae can be unicellular or multicellular, but protozoa are again unicellular. Where they are found? They are found in fresh water, salt water, some of them are found in soil, some of them live as parasite on others' body. What are parasites? Parasites are organisms that live on others' body, that is called as a host on which they live, and they draw nutrition from the host body and make themselves grow. So yeah, protozoa exist, or protozoa live as a parasites on other organism body, including human beings. So what are the examples of protozoa? Amoeba, Giardia, Paramecium and Trypanosoma. So this is amoeba. It has an irregular shape. It's engulfing food. This is a food particle. So the amoeba is eating its food. This is a process shown in which the amoeba is eating its food. It has some special, this amoeba has some special finger-like projections which are called as a pseudopodia. Which enables amoeba to move. This is Paramecium. These small brush-like structures that you can see, this is cilia. And why it is called Paramecium? Because it appears like a foot-like appearance. That's why we call it as a Paramecium. This is a cilia which helps to move as well as stick to the substratum. This is Trypanosoma. This is a flagella. It's for movement. This is Giardia. So next is fungi. They are living. They can be unicellular or multicellular. They are plant-like organisms, but not plants. They are plant-like because they have cell wall, but they do not contain chlorophyll in their cells. Whereas when we read about algae, they are also called as a plant-like. They contain both cell wall as well as chlorophyll, but the fungi contain cell wall but do not have chlorophyll in their cells. Now, since they do not have chlorophyll in their cells, they cannot synthesize their own food. Okay? Since they lack chlorophyll, they cannot make their own food. So the mode of nutrition that fungi adapts is either they are saprophytes or they are parasites. So we also read about protozoans that they are parasites in previous video or previous section. In previous section we read that protozoans are also parasites. So the same way the fungi also behave as a parasites, or they are saprophytes. Now what do you mean by saprophytes? Saprophytes are the organisms that feed on dead and waste matter. That dead matter can be dead matter of animals as well as dead matter of plants. So fungi are actually cleanser. Saprophytes are termed as a cleanser because if there is no one as a saprophytic mode of nutrition, then there will be piling up of dead bodies of plants and animals on this earth. So fungi do take up this job. They eat or feed on dead matter and they clean it out. So saprophytes, this is saprophytes. Parasites, I already told you that parasites are organisms. They feed or they take nutrition from their host on which they are parasite as. So where the fungi are found? They are found almost everywhere, from deserts to cold regions, but they grow best in dark, warm and shady places. So this line is very important, that they grow best in dark, warm and shady places. You can find them almost everywhere, from deserts to cold region, but their best conditions to grow or to maximize their growth is dark, warm and shady places. Okay, so I told you they can be unicellular, multicellular. If someone asks you, give me an example of a unicellular fungi, that's yeast. If someone asks you, give me an example of a multicellular fungi which we can't eat, like which is not edible, that is bread mold. And give me an example of a multicellular fungi which is edible, which we use as a veggies, that is mushrooms. Yeah, mushrooms is a fungi. Okay, so this is penicillium, this is yeast, this is bread mold. You can see this. This is a bread mold. Actually, if you want to make a bread mold, what you can do, you can simply take a slice of bread, just sprinkle some water over it, and keep it in the dark, warm, and shady place at your home. And observe this slice with sprinkled water over it from like in 5 or 7 days. You will see a cotton like growth that is appeared, that is whitish in color. So that cotton like growth is actually the filaments of the fungi, that's fungus, that's called bread mold. You can't eat that bread. That bread is not healthy, please don't eat it. So the fungus, or the bread mold fungus, is scientifically named as Rhizopus. This is a common name of that fungi that grows on the bread, but the scientific name is Rhizopus. Moving on to the next is mushroom, that we all know that we eat them. So common name is mushroom, but the scientific name of mushrooms is Agaricus. So this is edible. This is not healthy. Please do not eat bread mold. This penicillin is actually used and is very useful in making antibiotics that you'll study in higher classes.